Hello my darlings and welcome. Today I'm going to create a page in my Book of Shadows, a page showing how to make black salt. This salt can be used in your magical workings to protect your home, purify and cleanse a space, and to break bad luck. Let's do some magical crafting. If you'd like to download a PDF of this grimoire page, please visit Magical Crafting on Patreon at the link below the video. My patrons can download recipes, Book of Shadows pages, artwork, and more, all provided as PDFs, and I'll continue to add new, downloadable content as I do more projects on the channel. When I design a page in my Book of Shadows, I start with a pencil sketch. Then I go over it with waterproof ink and erase my pencil lines. And finally, I go back in with watercolor paint to add colors and backgrounds. Today's page is how to make black salt. This page shows a somewhat complex recipe, and I want to start out by saying that you do not have to use every ingredient listed here. You can make black salt by combining charcoal and salt. That's it. Salt is a powerful cleansing and protective ingredient in its own right. However, if you'd like to give your black salt some extra magic, you can try adding one or more of the items in this recipe. Salt and sage are powerful cleansing agents. Frankincense also acts to purify a sacred space. Rosemary and mugwort are protective herbs, and rue is used in folk magic to break curses, hexes, and bad luck. I added a list of these herbal correspondences to the grimoire page. Burning any or all of these herbs on a piece of charcoal as incense will create a lovely black ash to add to your salt. I drew a cauldron to symbolize a fireproof vessel to burn the incense and herbs inside of, and a mortar and pestle to grind the salt and charcoal together. I drew a glass jar with the finished black salt inside of it. I also added a fire safety reminder at the bottom of the page, because a charcoal briquette can take almost 2 hours to burn completely, and the vessel it's in can get extremely hot. Burning paper can also be tricky, as you should be careful to control any pieces that might blow away in a breeze or fall onto something flammable like an altar cloth. Black salt combines the elements of fire and earth. That's why I painted the background of this Book of Shadows page in warm, fiery colors. Another way to add additional magic to a batch of black salt is to write your intentions out on a piece of paper, then burn the paper and add the ashes to your salt. I added a picture of my intention paper and a candle to the grimoire page. On the paper I wrote, "I banish all negative energy in this space. Love and peace surround me. My home is my sanctuary." Additional items you can add to your salt are the ashes from any incense you've burned in the past, activated charcoal from supplement capsules, or black salt used in many Indian and Asian cuisines that can be found in a grocery store or ordered online. I added a list of these optional ingredients to the grimoire page. I created a separate video where I make black salt, and if you'd like to watch that witchy DIY video, I'll leave a link to it below. And if you'd like to download a PDF of this grimoire page, please visit Magical Crafting on Patreon at the link below the video. And now, please enjoy the rest of this speed paint without further commentary.